A wildfire jumped a river and burned directly into a major American city. This weekend, 3 fast-moving fires converged on Spokane, Washington, driven by 35 to 45-mile-per-hour winds, and one of them crossed the Spokane River straight into residential neighborhoods inside the city itself. More than 700 homes and buildings are gone. Around 65,000 people were forced to evacuate. Spokane's mayor called it, quote, "the worst natural disaster our region has faced." And as smoke chokes the air across the entire region, an arson arrest connected to one of the fires raises a darker question about how all of this actually started. No guessing, no dramatizing, just the facts, the science, and the real stakes. Let's get into it. The fires, 3 blazes, 1 weekend. It started Saturday, August 1st. The Old Trails fire broke out southwest of Spokane and grew fast, eventually burning more than 3,600 acres in the Indian Trail area. The Autumn Lane fire ignited near 9 Mile Falls, northwest of the city, and grew even larger, past 5,600 acres. A third fire, the Fairview fire, broke out closer to downtown. By Saturday night, the situation had turned genuinely dangerous, winds gusting up to 45s. Miles an hour pushed the Autumn Lane fire into Riverside State Park, and from there, across the Spokane River, directly into the city limits. State Senator Marcus Riccelli, who evacuated his own home that night, described the roads as chaotic with a normal 5-minute drive, taking him 40 minutes as police worked to keep traffic moving in one direction. The damage, a city changed overnight. By Sunday, officials confirmed at least 600 structures destroyed. That number kept climbing. By Monday, it had passed 700, rivaling the most destructive wildfire disaster this region had ever seen. Roughly 65,000 people were under evacuation orders at the peak, out of a city of just over 230,000. The Spokane Convention Center was converted into an emergency shelter, hosting hundreds of displaced residents overnight. The Spokane County Fair and Expo Center took in nearly 200 evacuated animals. Some families ended up staying in RVs at a casino parking lot. 14 people were reported unaccounted for in the immediate chaos. Monday, county officials confirmed all 14 had been found safe. Air quality became its own emergency. Spokane's air quality index hit 207 on Sunday, more than 4 times the threshold. The science. Why this fire moved so fast. 3 ingredients made this disaster possible, and all 3 were present at once. First, a statewide drought had left vegetation across eastern Washington critically dry. Second, a heat dome settled over the region, pushing temperatures up and humidity down. Third, sustained winds of 35 to 45 miles an hour gave the fire exactly what it needed to spread explosively rather than slowly. When wind that strong hits dry fuel, embers don't just fall near the fire line, they get thrown well ahead of it, landing on roofs and in gutters and starting new spot fires far from where firefighters are actually positioned. That's part of how a fire crosses something. Like a river, not by the flame front itself, but by wind-carried embers igniting new fires on the far side, which then merge with the main blaze. Officials in Spokane specifically noted fire jumping containment lines this way, carried by the wind even where retardant had already been dropped. The comparison, 2023 versus 2026. This isn't the first time Spokane County has been hit like this. In August 2023, 2 fires, the Oregon Fire and the Gray Fire, burned through much of the same general region, together destroying roughly 620 structures and killing 2 people. At the time, it was described as the county's costliest wildfire event on record. This weekend's fires have already destroyed more structures than that 2023 event. And unlike 2023, this fire didn't stay in outlying rural areas. It crossed a river and burned directly into residential neighborhoods inside city limits. Washington's Commissioner of Public Lands put it simply, this is already one of the state's busiest wildfire years on record, and August had barely started. The pattern is the same each time: dry vegetation, extreme heat, and strong wind, but each time it's arriving with more force and reaching closer to where people actually live. What happens next? Fire crews continue working to fully contain the Autumn Lane, Old Trails, and Fairview fires, with officials warning conditions remain dangerous as more heat and wind are forecast for the rest of the week. Some evacuation zones have already been downgraded as containment improves, but county officials are urging residents not to return home until zones are officially cleared. The federal emergency request Governor Ferguson made is still pending a formal response, and recovery, including the investigation into the arson arrest, is expected to continue for weeks. Final thought. Most people picture wildfire as something that happens at a distance, in a forest, somewhere rural. This weekend in Spokane, it happened inside the city itself, jumping a river and reaching homes that had never been considered part of any fire risk zone. 65,000 people found out in a matter of hours that the ordinary boundary between wildland and city isn't as solid as it looks, especially when the wind is blowing at 45 miles an hour and the ground has been drying out all summer. Subscribe so you don't miss the next update on this story. Leave that comment below. What's the first thing you'd grab if you had 10 minutes to evacuate? 5,000 likes on this one. Let's go. See you in the next one.